So we got some breaking news for y'all. Donald Trump's healthcare secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s newly appointed board just gutted childhood vaccine requirements for kids under 4. This comes after he already cut $500 million in funding to mRNA vaccine development and has made it significantly harder to get vaccinated against COVID. I'm going to break it all down for y'all, plus I'll share my personal experience with these bullshit new requirements. But hey, since you're already here, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be the first to know when we post new videos. This is Pragmotiv News, and I'm your boy Trey. So today, the board that RFK Jr. just appointed less than a week ago decided it would be a good idea to make it harder for Americans to access vaccines. This time, specifically targeting children. New York Times is reporting that, quote, in a meeting that devolved into confusion and near chaos, federal advisors on Thursday voted 8-3 against vaccinating children under 4 years old with a combination shot that protects against the measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox. The meeting ended without a planned vote on whether newborns should receive the vaccine against hepatitis B, a highly infectious disease that damages the liver, as is currently the standard. That vote was postponed until Friday. The article goes on to say that in a sign of how hastily the committee was put together, the advisors, about half of whom were only appointed to the panel by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. earlier this week, needed explanations of the usual protocol for these meetings, the design of scientific studies, and critical flaws in the data they suggested, including. The panelists also seemed unsure about the purpose of the Vaccines for Children program, which provides free shots to roughly half of all American children. Approving which vaccines the program should cover is a key function of this committee. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of people are on this board or is in this administration that feels like it's a good idea for you to stick children 4 times when you could only have to give them 1 shot. I mean, it's already a traumatic experience enough for these kids to have to go and get their vaccines. They're young. They don't know what this is. They don't know why it's vital. But now they're going to have to do it 4 times. What's going to end up happening is people just aren't going to get vaccinated, which is what I think they're trying to do in the first place, which is to make people sick. I don't understand why, but that's what I feel that they're doing, in my opinion. I mean, it's just a bunch of incompetence to me. And they're just hell-bent on making things harder instead of easier. They're supposed to be, so they say, the party of no government bureaucracy, making things easier, smaller government. But yet you get in here and you make everything harder. You add more paperwork, more obstacles. It's putting people's lives in danger. So this isn't the first time RFK Jr. has shown he could care less about the lives of the people he is sworn to protect. Just last month, like I mentioned at the top, he cut $500 million from the mRNA program. This is the technology that the COVID vaccines are based on. So Newsweek says that President Donald Trump's former Surgeon General, Jerome Adams, has warned that people are going to die. That's his quote. Quote, people are going to die, end quote, if the United States cuts funding for mRNA vaccine development. It comes after Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced last week that his department would terminate 22 Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority investments in mRNA vaccine development, representing nearly $500 million in federal funding. So I don't think I need to remind everybody about this, but 1.2 million Americans died from COVID-19. God only knows how many lives were saved by these vaccines. But the Trump admin thinks that it's a good idea to cut the funding for this. Like, we don't need this anymore. Yes, I know that the COVID numbers are down, but I mean, how much can we really trust that? I don't trust that they would report this out of this current iteration of the CDC. But you're not going to keep infections down if we don't keep people vaccinated against this virus, because it's constantly changing. So anyway, before I leave y'all, I'm going to do something that I don't normally do on this show, and I'm going to share something really personal with y'all. But first, for context, I want y'all to watch this exchange between Senator Elizabeth Warren and RFK Jr. Roll the clip.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So last November, while you were under consideration to become Secretary of Health and Human Services, Mr. Kennedy, you said, quote, if vaccines are working for somebody, I'm not going to take them away. No exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts. You would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. Then last week, you announced that the COVID-19 vaccine is no longer approved for healthy people under the age of 65. In announcing the change, you said the vaccine will be available for anyone who wants it. Now, obviously, both things cannot be true at the same moment. So let's clear this up right now, Secretary Kennedy. Will you tell America that all adults and all children over 6 months of age are eligible to get a COVID booster at their local pharmacy today?
Anybody can get the booster.
I'm sorry?
Anybody can get it, Senator.
Anybody. So you're saying that is now the official rule of HHS. Anybody is eligible to get a booster by just walking into the pharmacy.
It's not recommended for healthy people.
No. If you don't recommend, then the consequence of that in many states is that you can't walk into a pharmacy and get one. It means insurance companies don't have to cover the $200 or so cost. As Senator Dr. Cassidy said, you are effectively denying people vaccines.
We're not going to recommend a product for which there's no clinical data for that indication. Is that what I should be doing?
What you should be doing is honoring your promise that you made when you were looking to get confirmed in this job.
You're going like this.
And that is, you promised that you would not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking them away from people, Senator.
It takes it away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free. Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
The question is everyone who wants it. That was your promise, Mr. Kennedy,
I never...
mine.
So, first of all, he lied. And I'm going to tell you how he lied. Let's go back in time. Let's go back to 2020. I talked about this in some of my videos on my channel. I also talked about this on the Pragmotiv podcast channel. So the week that COVID hit, my doctor diagnosed me with primary immune deficiency. So I have a low immune system, which is biological. There's nothing that I could do about it, but take the medicines that they give me for it. But I'm still very susceptible to getting, different viruses and diseases that go around, like COVID, like the cold, like the flu, right? So these things have always been an issue for me. I just never understood why I would always get sick. If I was in class with 30 other kids and one person had a cold, no matter what I did, I would end up getting sick. And that cold wouldn't last me 3 days. It would last a month. So when COVID hit, I found this out. Of course, that was like the worst time to find that out, the week of. So fast forward to, I think it was like December 2020 when the vaccines first came out. Remember, they were very limited and they were restricted to people who were immunocompromised, which I was now in that category, and people over 65. I think at first it was just people over 65 because I remember helping my grandparents get theirs and I wasn't eligible yet. And then it went to immunocompromised people. So long story short, what I'm trying to illustrate is I think it was maybe 2021. It wasn't 2020. It was 2021 when they came out. The first vaccine I got, the first initial series, I just had to state that I was immunocompromised, and I got my vaccine. When I went to get the booster, every year since then, I've gotten a booster, a COVID booster, along with my flu shot, and I haven't had any trouble. I walk into the pharmacy, I tell them I'm here for flu, I'm here for the COVID vaccine, and I would get both of them and go on about my business. I have had COVID twice. The first time was horrific. Luckily, I didn't end up in the hospital, and I know that that was because of the vaccine, because I was still sick for 2.5 months, even though I had the vaccine. So I can only imagine what would have happened if I hadn't been inoculated. The second time I had it was last year, and I was really sick, but only for like a week. Again, I stay up on my boosters. Every year I go into the pharmacy and I get the booster. Just go in, tell them I need flu shot, COVID shot, get it, easy. Tell me why last Friday, went to the same pharmacy, have the same, everything is the same insurance, and nothing else has changed. I go in there and they tell me, I'm sorry, Trey, you cannot get this vaccine this year unless you have a prescription from your doctor. Yeah, this was my face. I'm like, really? So what do? It's like 12:30. This was Friday. I went on a Friday because I know that the vaccine, it makes me sick for like 2 days. I get like, fever, achiness, fatigue. So I did it on a weekend on purpose, right? I'm here. It's a Friday. I call the doctor, but the doctor is gone at 12 o'clock on a Friday. So this was around 12:30. So now RFK Jr. has already inconvenienced me because now I can't get this vaccine on a Friday. I have to wait till Monday for the doctor to come back to the office to send this prescription over. Monday, the doctor comes back, sends the prescription to the pharmacy. I couldn't get back to the pharmacy, I think, until Wednesday. So I go into the pharmacy on Wednesday after the doctor has, the nurse has left me a message saying the doctor has sent this prescription over to the pharmacy. I wait in a long line because it's like peak time, 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. I wait in this long line. I get to the counter and they tell me why. They tell me, we don't have a prescription for this vaccine. You still can't get the vaccine. Really? So have to call the doctor back. This time the doctor actually gets back to me, which is like 4 something. So I was surprised. They called the pharmacy again. This time it's squared away. But the pharmacy says, well, now we have to fill the prescription and we close in an hour. So we cannot fill your prescription today. You can't get the shot today. So I had planned to recover from that shot, to get it yesterday and to recover today. No, couldn't get it yesterday. So now my plan is to go tomorrow to try to get this shot again. Crossing my fingers, it'll finally go through and I can get it 1 whole week later. All of this inconvenience, this time, going into this pharmacy over and over again. Got my flu shot last week, by the way. Just want to point that out. But they're creating all of this inconvenience for what? I may not agree with anti-vaxxers out there, but to a certain extent, I am for you doing whatever you want to do with your body. That is what America is about. So if you don't want to get a vaccine, then fine, don't get the vaccine. But why are you stopping me from getting it when I want to get it? This is the problem that I have. Don't impose your beliefs on me. Now, the only time I believe people should be forced to get vaccines is if it's going to cause other people harm. And that is why they was doing things with the COVID COVID vaccine mandates. And I understood that because I was one of the people that would be harmed by it. Now, with the empathy I have, I would have understood it even if I wasn't. But, I made sure that I got vaccinated, not just for me, but for my grandparents. I wasn't trying to give them a deadly virus. So it's like the compassion has left our civil discourse. This country, to me, is just spiraling. And I can't tell you how we get back or get to a place, because it's hard to say get back to, because apparently all of this shit was running, under the surface. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all, but I do know that the administration and the federal government and the state government here where I live should not be making it hard for me to get vaccinated against a virus that will kill me if I get it, because of the conditions that I have that I can't control. So that's it for now, y'all. Please remember to follow us at Pragmotiv across all socials and subscribe and turn on those post notifications so that you'll be notified when we post, because sometimes the algorithm might not tell you that we got a new video. So make sure y'all hit that bell so that you'll be notified every time we upload. You can also find us on other platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Audible. You can also find us on Substack by going to pragmotivplus.com. And while you're there, subscribe to our email list. And the good thing about following us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Audible, all of those other ones, and even Spotify, is that you'll be able to listen to us when you're on the go and when you're out doing stuff. So just make sure that y'all go follow us and show us some love across all of them platforms. But until next time, catch y'all later. Peace.